impact with since we started the physical action also completing the lab research which is a chemistry from biology people is a funny to discuss or what is very important instead of take a particular structure of the body without learning about the person that takes place as a function. It's all comes like humanity, anatomy, physiology, morphology, practice, surgery, pathology and surgery or pharmaceutical or treatment.
I know exactly what grief looks like.
In 2021, I lost my mom.
And that's something that's really difficult for a lot of people to even comprehend.
I actually tried to be very brave.
And it was very
difficult to
even relay to him.
I wasn't as upset as I was, so I think
Grief is inevitable.
Grief is this lake, and my life, I keep walking around the lake. I can put my feet in it, I can look at it, and it never seems to be the right time to jump into it and grieve and swim in it.
People often don't know what to do or say when you're grieving, because what do you say when you've lost?
I know exactly what grief looks like. I see grief in every new connection I come across.
The death of my grandmother, I stand on the post.
I see her face in every friend's grandma. I see his face when I look at my mom. I see their face in every wrinkle.
My mother passed away a couple of years ago, 2 years ago in February, and it was even harder for us, especially for me, because I was right next to her when she passed.
I know grief as a lie. I know grief as death. I know grief in watching my parents grow old. I know grief as the same bird that sits on my window each day.
I'll go back to when my best friend passed, like 5 years ago. I try to think that he's still here, but I realize he's not. And for me, it's like, I don't see visions, but when I get a random bird coming on the ledge, I was like, yeah. Like, cause we live in New York, we had a bird come literally on our window to sit there. And I was telling her, I said, he's just checking on us.
I know grief as my past self. I know grief as high school sweethearts. I have felt it on my hands and knees. I have felt it hyperventilating. I have felt it in orchids and perfume. I have felt it in awkward conversations.
Grief does not go away, just you get through it, not over it. You just kind of, you go through the motions, and some days are great. And some days you cry at your desk all day, and some days you kind of laugh and you're like, you just remember the good things. And so you, again, like I said, you can let it motivate you, or you can let it overcome you, and sometimes it just does.
My husband died when my son was 4 years old. After the funeral was the hardest because I realized everything's going to go back to normal, and mine wasn't.
Grief introduces itself sometimes abruptly, sometimes slowly.
In my imagination, I wrapped the pain and grief in a beautiful box, a sacred box, and then placed it on an imaginary shelf high in a protected corner of my heart.
So my grief doesn't look like despair or depression or sorrow or defeat anymore. Over the years, it's turned into gratitude. Bella taught me I'm worthy of love and showed me what real love looks like.
Grief is inevitable. Grief is beautiful. I know exactly what grief looks like.